teach you guys a little sign language, because as you can see, I used to be a kindergarten teacher. This means breathe. So if at any point in my presentation I stop breathing, just do this to remind me to just keep moving along. Okay, good. So, I'm so happy to be here with all of you today to share my personal transformation story. As you can see, I was a former kindergarten teacher. Okay, this started me longer.
Back up a little bit. There you go. I think so.
Okay. So, I'm a former kindergarten teacher. I'm a lifetime one-star Diamond Team Beachbody coach. And I've been doing this business since October 2014, so a little over a year now. And I am the CEO of my team, Fierce Fit Pride. There are some of you here. Let me hear you roar.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. And look at you roaring, Kaylee. Roar! All right. So anyway, we all know that this microphone is driving me nuts. We all know that a personal transformation story is something so much more than physical. It's mental, it's emotional, it's spiritual. In a lot of ways, the journey really starts on the inside. I feel like Huh?
You don't need it.
Alright, hold on. Can you hear me if I talk like
Yes.
this?
Try to
What about now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Alright, so I feel like we are dealt a hand of cards in this life, and it's what we choose to do with it, how we choose to respond to some of the struggles that we face in life, how we come out of our struggles as self-loving, courageous, triumphant human beings that really counts for anything at the end of the day. And my main message to you this morning is just going to be that no matter where you're at in your health and fitness journey, or this business, or just in this life, you are always presented with two choices. One, to persevere despite the obstacles that life may throw at you, which I believe is obviously the more gratifying option of the two. Or two, to stay stuck, to be crippled by fear, to be the prisoner of your own self-deprecating thoughts, and to exist in your life rather than to really live your life. Now, when I put it that way, it may seem or sound like so commonsensical, right? Like, oh, yeah, sure, I know which option I would choose. But if we're being honest here, and this is a safe space, how many of us have ever sabotaged our own success? Congratulations to any of you if you're not raising your hand. How many of you have ever said to yourself, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not deserving of happiness, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough? Yeah. Okay. Well, right here today, starting right now, we're going to cut that ish out because we don't need that here, or ever in our lives, really. I'm going to share a little bit with you about where I started and what led me to this journey of personal growth and my pursuit of living my life in love and with passion every single day. And this is what I want for everybody that I meet, a life loaded with passion and love and purpose. And it's possible, but it's also a choice. So, all right, I really want to see that. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's meet Meaghan Howe. This is Meaghan Howe. She's 16 years old in this photo. She's unhealthy, the heaviest she's ever been in her entire life. She's unhappy, but she's smiling in that picture because she knows she looks like a princess in her junior prom gown. Behind that smile, though, there's a lot of pain. She's lost, she's depressed, she's self-destructive, she's angry as hell, and every day she's looking at herself in the mirror and she's saying, "You're broken." At the time that this photo was taken, She had been hard at work for the past 2 years of her life, trying so desperately hard to become somebody that she wasn't. Dyeing her hair, gaining 60 pounds, subconsciously building these physical walls up around herself as a defense mechanism. It was her way of saying to the world, don't look at me, don't talk to me, do not touch me. I'm fat, I'm ugly, I hate all of you, and worst of all, I hate myself. All of that after she was raped when she was 14 years old as a freshman in high school. Life was a struggle for this person every single day. She did not want to live. There were so many days where she contemplated taking her own life, and there were days when she tried acting upon it. What is my life even worth? That is the question that I would ask myself every single day, and back then, I did not have an answer. So fast forward another year, I was a senior in high school, and I found my purpose and my passion and reason for waking up every day with more love in my heart, working with children. And anybody in this room who has ever worked with children, or anyone who has kids of their own, and I know you're all in here, you can attest to this even on the nights when you go to sleep with the sound of crying babies in your noggins, right, Laura and Kaylee? Yep. They're my former colleagues. I started teaching with them. And they're now members of my team. Or you've got like this serious eye twitch thing going on for like a week straight because your bugs just like drive you nuts. Right, Carrie? Right. So, even on those hard days, you can attest to this. Kids just have a way of showing you what truly matters in this life. They reconnect you with your inner child, and their resilience is just astounding. And they really pulled me out of a dark place in my life, a place that, for as far as I could see, offered me absolutely no light. And I began to lose some weight. I lost some of the weight that I had put on over the past few years because I was happier. My mindset was different, and I dropped about 30 pounds just from making better choices with my nutrition. And I was also introduced to a man that we all know and love. His name's Sean T. And he taught me how to tilt, tuck, and tighten with a program we call Hip Hop Abs. Fan favorite. But it was through my work with children that I decided I wanted to go on to pursue my dreams of becoming a teacher, specifically an early childhood educator. And I always knew that I was going to be a teacher. I'd come home from school just to play school with my imaginary students, and I would use all of the ink in my parents' printer, printing off like homework sheets and worksheets and stuff that I made for people who didn't exist. Sorry about that. And I just remember idolizing all of my teachers as I went through school and thinking to myself, one day I'm going to grow up to be just like you. I'm going to make a difference in people's lives, I'm going to teach people, and I'm going to do my best to inspire people in all the ways that you have inspired me. So I go away to college, where I've got this newfound sense of freedom and fun, and I packed on what I'm going to call a very generous freshman 25 pounds. I was drinking 3 to 4 nights out of the week. I was eating poorly. I was neglecting to exercise, aside from getting my boogie on at parties on the weekends. That was my idea of what an exercise was. But I was truly unwell, and everything I ate made me sick. I was crippled with joint pain. I was extremely fatigued beyond belief. And that's real. Like, that still happens. No, honestly not. So I ended up losing 30 pounds between my sophomore and senior years of college, and I started taking medication or my ADHD, which is what made me lose that weight. So I didn't lose weight because I had adopted some kind of new, awesome, healthy habits. I still felt awful, health-wise on the inside, but I looked like I was doing better on the outside. And if at this point in my story, you're thinking to yourself, sounds like, your life has been a roller coaster ride of weight fluctuation, congratulations. You are what I like to call a social detective. You've nailed it. That's exactly what's going on here. So, I graduated college with my BS in early childhood education and my BA in studio art. And I went on to get a job working in the same elementary school that I attended as a kiddo. And I worked as a one-on-one special ed assistant with this beautiful ray of sunshine. Some of you know him. For 2 years, at which time I was also undergoing a bunch of testing for food and food chemical sensitivities. And I found out that I was reactive or sensitive to literally what seemed like every food and food chemical known to man. So I was placed on a gluten, dairy, sugar, yeast, corn, lettuce, nightshade vegetables, certain fruits-free diet. There's more, but I won't bore you. My diet was like 100% organic, non-GMO. My personal care products had to be 100% organic. A lot of them I made myself using all natural products. And this chapter of my journey involves several rounds of elimination diets. My parents, God bless you guys, were spending like hundreds of dollars on top shelf supplements every month to supplement the nutrition that I wasn't getting in my diet through vitamins and such. It was intense as fill in the blank. Like, it was crazy, a really crazy time in my life. And I also spent a lot of time educating myself about nutrition and the genetic engineering of foods. And I blogged about it. I built this massive following on social media, and just through sharing my journey and the struggle that I called the sensitive life. And I made light of a situation, or rather, not so awesome situation, through humor in blogging and educating people about what I was learning. And it was awesome. I had people like from all over the world reaching out to me with similar struggles, and they're asking me questions, and those questions turned into blog posts. And it was just a really great way to feel like I was, building this small community of people who all knew the sensitive struggle. So I also got to blog about traveling with food sensitivities, because one day I woke up, literally one day I just woke up and I decided I was going to spend every penny I had on a trip to Italy. Never done it, I suggest it, just go do that. I found myself there. So it was awesome to share my journey and my travels with those who followed me. But the elimination diets and all the supplements, eventually, it ended up wreaking havoc on my health. Like, sure, the elimination of certain foods in the beginning helped me to feel well, but continuing on with that process, it was just awful. I ended up not feeling well at all. I became depressed because my diets didn't allow for any going out or fun having with friends. I didn't see a restaurant for over 5 months. I became anemic. I started losing my hair. I was breaking out in welts and hives all over my body. Like, my body was extra sensitive because of all of the eliminating I did in my diet. And so I was essentially restricted in isolation because of food. It got to a point where I would open the refrigerator door and just start to cry. And I felt like, that part of my journey really triggered something within me. I realized that food was now controlling my life, which was an unfamiliar plot twist in this lifelong, complicated relationship that I had to food. Everybody has a complicated relationship to food. And coming to this realization was pretty profound for me. So, I had to move on from that chapter in my journey because it was starting to, have effects on my mental health. I was reliving a lot of the pain from my past, thinking about how, okay, food has always been, a means for power and control in my life. And sorry. So, after working with my munchkin for 2 years and going through the motions of my sensitive life every day, I landed my dream job as a kindergarten teacher. And I taught my first day of kindergarten in the same exact classroom that I had my first day of kindergarten in 19 years earlier. As you can see, I traded in my cute little bus pass for a teacher's ID. And for whatever reason, I'm not that much taller from 5 to 24. No, but really, I was a giant as a child. And so I began teaching, and those kids were my everything. Everything I did was for them. Every minute of every day, I poured myself into this job because they were my peeps. They were my first little bunch of bunchkins, and I ended up, focusing so much on that I sort of forgot about myself and carving that time for me out of my day to, focus on, getting a workout in or just taking my nutrition more seriously. And I just didn't really feel well anymore. I didn't feel well at all. So I met my coach, Jenny. Where are you, Jenny? There she is. Hey, Jenny. Through her cousin, and we hit it off immediately. And I saw that she was doing these 21-day fix shenanigans, and I was like, yes, sign me up. Let's rock and roll. And as it turned out, Shakeology was like the only thing in over 10 years that helped me feel well again. Like, completely erased all those supplements and everything off the books. Don't have to buy those anymore. I replaced everything that I was using before with Shakeology, and I feel well, which is it's awesome. And so I decided, I guess while I'm at it, I'll pay it forward and help other people too. So, I wanted to share this new feeling of kick-assiness with other people. And I started coaching part-time in my first year of teaching. So, as the school year went on, I found that tragically teaching was not everything that I had hoped and dreamed it would be. I loved the students, I loved teaching them, I loved my colleagues so much, my lifelong friends, soul sisters. But I couldn't stand the developmentally inappropriate demands and expectations that I felt were imposed upon them in a very short amount of time that we had in a half-day kindergarten program. And I struggled with the thought of staying and being unhappy doing something that I felt was against my moral compass as an educator. And the further along I got with coaching, the more I realized that this opportunity I have in front of me is a pretty extraordinary one. I was helping people change their health, and in essence, I was helping them change their lives. I was still empowering people, still doing my best to inspire people. I was still teaching people, but this classroom as a coach looked very different from the classroom that I was so used to. I loved the idea that the healthy habits I was teaching my clients, they were permeating the homes of their families and reaching the kiddos at the dinner table or in their lunch boxes at school. I love the idea that I was helping parents live happier, healthier lives, because that was going to, affect the quality of the time spent with their kids. And I know that the little ones are constantly watching mom and dad at home. And they're all sponges, and so they see what their parents are doing, and I just felt like, they're going to be more likely to take care of themselves when they grow up, because they saw that this was something of importance in their home for the most important people in their lives growing up. And, not all my clients are parents, but I found myself saying, how is what I'm doing still somehow reaching children? Because again, like, children are my life. So this is, what I came up with. So in April, I made the toughest decision that I have ever, hands down, had to make in my entire life. And with a heavy yet hopeful heart, I turned in my teacher ID to pursue coaching full-time. And this business is the most moldable, pliable business, and it gives us all a platform to pursue our passions. I have many of them. I love to write, I love to motivate people, I love to teach, and I'm able to do all of this. But the one thing that this business has given me that is so untouchable is my voice. And that's something that for me was not heard 11 years ago when I was 14 years old. But it's heard today, and that's a gift that I am beyond grateful for. So this is where I'm at right now. I'm a full-time coach, and I'm raising a team of fearless leaders, and I'm spending my days making my mission about empowering people and preaching self-love, but more importantly, I'm trying to live that life for myself. It's so important to honor yourself and your happiness and your personal power in this life. As cliche as it sounds, we literally only have this one life and this one shot to make an impact, to wake up every day and to really make it count, to be happy and to live your life in love and to realize our passions. I don't care if you're 25 years old, if you're 45 years old, or if you're 65 years old. As long as you still have a pulse, there's not a damn reason why you can't wake up on the right side of the bed in the morning with a fierce passion for what you do in this life, ready to just take on the world. Truly. I've come from a place of not knowing my own worth, not caring about my existence, to now being able to stand before you today to tell you that my life does matter. I know it matters, and I know that your lives matter too. And if you're in the trenches right now, or you ever have been, there is a light at the end of that dark space. It just takes an unwavering amount of courage, persistence, and fight to find it. So please don't give up. On my last day with my kindergarten friends, I read a letter that I wrote to them out loud, and I'm going to read it to you now. I'm going to leave you with this. Always choose the path that makes your heart pump a huge smile and makes you want to dance and sing. Your dreams are never too big. You can be and do all extraordinary things in this life. With that said, I just want to say thank you to all of you who made it here today to be a part of this incredible community that we have here. And I want to say thank you for hearing my story and my voice today. This is a huge step for me on my journey, and I am so honored and blessed today to have my family, my friends, my former colleagues, and my team, and my success partners, my business partners, all here with me to be a part of that. So thank you.